The Kobalt Tools 500 is sponsored by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling brand of trucks for 33 years straight. Built Ford tough. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by AT&T, a better 3G experience.
You feel like overall that run was better?
Yeah, Tim Ford, the start was better. It's just I lose the ability to really arc in. That and I'm not getting off as good. But I'm getting, that was better than the first, the two previous runs.
10-4. Let's get a quarter round down right.
When he says he's losing the ability to arc in, what he's talking about is making this big late swing into the corner. What he's having to do is go straight in, and that's the difference of arcing in and just driving it straight in the corner. And if your car's not tight enough, you can't arc it in.
Hamlin, the leader. Taking the wave around were Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, and Joe Nemechek.
He's elected to start this race, restart this race on the bottom, and let Kurt Busch and that too have the outside line.
Well, Hamlin, he just said he can't arc in, so he doesn't need that outside line.
Hamlin's last three finishes at Atlanta, 3rd, 13th, and 6th. Here we go.
A good gauge of horsepower. If everything's equal, nobody spins the tires, they all take off about the same time as restarts. The guy with the most horsepower will be able to pull out.
And I'm going to tell you what, that he did through turn 1 and 2, even with Kurt Busch getting a good run off turn 2. Let's see what happens when they go down into turn 3.
Restarts are like a drag race, Larry. I mean, you drop the green flag and you drag, and who's got the best power usually prevails.
Front 6 cars all hang the bottom. First one up high is Jimmy Johnson, battling Jeff Gordon down into the corner. Excuse me, that's Rudeman. He's alongside down in the corner. And now here comes Matt Kenseth against Montoya. This is for 3rd.
Yeah, I think he's going to take Matt a little bit. He usually seems like he runs, takes him about 10 laps to really get going strong.
But Montoya, he's been running that second groove ever since they did the restart, and he'll get by Kenseth to move into 3rd.
This is the only track where Montoya has had more than one top 5 finish. He has 2 here. Let's go downstairs for a fantasy racing update from Steve.
Mike, I'm afraid to report my Fox Sports Auto Racing Challenge team has turned into a bit of a nightmare. It's a lot of fun. You pick 5 drivers while staying under a salary cap. And what I try to do, Mike, I like to pick value guys. Jimmy Johnson would have been the obvious, but I went with Paul Menard, Carl Edwards, Mark Martin, Casey Kane, and Jeff Burton. And right now, Casey Kane is my top driver. He is 5th overall, but it's a lot of fun. You go to foxsports.com. It's the Auto Racing Challenge.
We do need to mention what happened to Jeff Burton is they elected to make a second pit stop under that caution. Now David
Right
Rudeman.
rear. I think I think it's the right rear. I don't think it's engine. I saw a little smoke there, but I believe he's got a right rear down.
And he was running in the 7th position.
He dropped down to the apron in turn 3.
No,
Here's something in the bottom.
that's not it's not a tire. I thought that right rear looked soft, but that's coming out the tailpipes. Not good.
Just one flat.
Down a cylinder. We'll have a look at it.
It's a valve. That looks like it dropped a valve, maybe.
Hamlin under a charge for the lead from Kurt Busch and Montoya.
I'm going to tell you what, our top 5 is right there together because look at Montoya all over the rear bumper of that 2 car.
Tighten it up at the front of the field. Everybody's getting their car better and better and better.
Here comes Kenseth on the bottom.
And there's Casey Kane in that 9 car. He's been working for 100 laps trying to overcome that problem on pit road, and there he is. Looks to the inside of Kenseth down the back straightaway.
Kenseth's got pushing up off of 2. He had to burp it a little bit, and here come the 9 car.
Well, Denny Hamlin could not stretch out a lead here. He's got lots of company. Dick?
Montoya has just heard from his crew, save the splitter. That's how intense it is up front, Mike.
Wow. Ooh, save that right rear quarter panel, too. Woo. I got the splitter, boys. Don't worry about that. Not right rear. That's a whole different story.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, one reason they're getting concerned is 5 of our top 10 just ran the fastest lap of the race. Look at Montoya. Just slams in there in the second.
That's his perfect groove. He goes in a little high and then he dives to the bottom.
Little encouragement to take the lead, get those 5 points. There's Casey Kane in the 9, led this race so much in the beginning. He wants to get up there and take that second spot away.
Watch this line Montoya has down here. He may not even have to use it. Looks like Hamlin's going to let him by. He goes in really high, and then he just comes to the bottom. He kind of cuts down to the middle of the racetrack and picks up a lot of speed coming down the hill. See that gap?
For the first time today.
Nice job. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Stay right rear.
Juan Montoya is your leader for the first time today. He's the 9th different leader of the race.
Wearing him out. Say the splitter. Okay, now say the right rear. Save me some fuel.
I would say with him, it's right rear tire and right rear quarter pound.
I'd be telling that crew chief, give me a break, man.
There's Casey Kane in that 9, moves to the high side of Denny Hamlin, takes that second spot away, but here comes Hamlin fighting back on the bottom. That's what makes this place so great. We're past halfway, and look at these guys going after.
But it's, you know, you say it's like a rubber band. It's more like a yo-yo. You know, you go down, you work on it, you go back up. It's just backing and forth. Who's got it right at the end?
Front 4 drivers all within 1 second of one another. Let's have another look at that move Montoya made, because I think not only did he get sideways as he passed Kurt Busch, I think Busch got sideways too.
Watch this up here. He really set that up getting into 3. Went in there a little high, but when he cut it to the middle, he came by those guys.
I think he definitely caught Kurt Busch off guard. Kurt yanked it to the left. Like, where did he come from? Here's Kane in that 9 car, wants the lead back. Let's see what happens if he dives it off into 3 here.
That's the best car, Larry. The 9, just, you know, overall so far through the race, run after run, that 9's been the best.
With the wave around, our pole sitter Dale Earnhardt Jr. now just 1 lap down, as is Jeff Gordon and Ryan Newman. Here's Steve.
Mike, team owner Rick Hendrick has made his way down into the pits. I got to tell you, it's still a bit of a mystery down here. Tire specialist Keith Weiss said it might be a rear hub. I can tell you what it's not. It is not related to the rear axle problem they had in Fontana. Keith Weiss also saying they're looking at serial numbers, but these guys were standing here, Mike, with their palms up in the air. They're mystified.
But Steve, although Dale said on the radio it felt like a loose wheel, you've seen no evidence of that?
The tires are fully inflated, Mike, and that's what Keith Weiss is mystified about. He said they're fully inflated. We don't know what the problem is.
And that's a head scratcher. And I mean, it's very concerning anywhere, but especially the speed you're running at this place.
I've had brakes. I've had a rotor be warped. Put your foot on the brake and it'll shake the whole car. Not saying that could be the problem, but I wouldn't count that out.
Let's get an update on his teammate Jimmy Johnson in 6th, Matt.
Jimmy's impressed so far with the progress they've made, Mike, on the 48 car. Loose on entry. He said it just needs a turn a little better in the center. But right now they feel pretty good where they are, making progress. Like we talked before, it's all about adjustments through the course of the race. About 148 to go.
Now on the left, you see Chad Knaus, crew chief for Jimmy Johnson, Kenny Francis, crew chief for Casey Kane, talking to each other. Remember, we've documented the whole race. Those guys are pitting right beside each other, and they've kind of been on top of each other all day long in the pits.
Well, I think that's a conversation where, look, I'll let you know when I'm coming, and you let me know when you're coming, so we don't come in together.
And of course, Matt, the problem is the 9 car's pitting behind the 48, and with him leading the race, he gets to his pit box first.
And Larry Mack, I was up in the 9 Hall this morning talking to Kenny Francis when a crew member walked in and said, did you see who picked right in front of us? And Kenny said, yeah, that's going to be an issue all day. We're going to have to make sure that we work together, but also stop shorter in our box so that we don't have an issue.
Well, the good news is Casey Kane in the 9, Kenny Francis, they have a small opening behind them. And then out in front of Jimmy Johnson, which was a problem earlier, David Gilliland in that 38 car, he is actually down a lap or so now, so that kind of helps the situation. I'm wrong on that. Gilliland is still on the lead lap based on a little bit what happened a little bit earlier.
Remember the last caution flag stop, Gilliland waited a couple laps to come in so those two could get their business done and get back out. Kane is the leader, Juan Pablo Montoya in second.
The gloves are off. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.